Could the exit of the decade actually be running in reverse right before our very eyes? Or is this the most elaborate, calculated chess game we have ever witnessed in the heart of royal Britain?
Look, I don't want the marriage to go pop, because then we're going to have this whiny little wanker back in the United Kingdom, back demanding security paid for by us. No.
Just like people in the UK, Americans and those in North America really don't approve of the way you've betrayed your family over the years. And, unfortunately, Harry, that has, although it translated into short-term financial gain, that hasn't turned into long-term financial success.
There's this story that goes into great detail about how Harry and Meghan feel unwelcome in America. The title is, from the Daily Mail, "Harry never wanted to be estranged, but he was madly in love. Now the veil is lifted. Inside plan to reverse Megxit."
So, it was a slight surprise to see Harry at the Time 100 the other day. Whereas they couldn't make it clearer, or Harry certainly couldn't make it clearer, how much he wants to reconnect with England.
Both judges, for this case and the Home Office case about his security, were very clear that, it's clear that he passionately feels that he's been wronged. But that doesn't equate to a rightful case in a court of law.
God help us, because even the commentators who cover this beat every single day didn't expect the exit of the decade to start running in reverse. And when the Daily Mail's own royal show opened its week, it wasn't asking whether the Sussexes were thriving in America. It asked this: God help us.
Is the American dream over for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Does the palace now need to watch its back?
God help us, because even the commentators who cover this beat every single day didn't expect the exit of the decade to start running in reverse. And when the Daily Mail's own royal show opened its week, it wasn't asking whether the Sussexes were thriving in America. It asked this.
When I was talking to my source, and he said, Harry and Meghan both feel that America is kind of cooling on them and that it's difficult, and they want to be liked in the UK now. And that's where they're focusing, as a kind of a charm offense.
When I was talking to my source and he said, Harry and Meghan both feel that America is kind of cooling on them and that it's difficult. And they want to be liked in the UK now. And that's where they're focusing, a kind of a charm offensive.
Alison Boshoff, the Daily Mail's editor-at-large, wrote an intriguing article with the headline, "The Plan to Reverse Megxit." Rebecca, we're talking about a plan in inverted commas.
A plan in inverted commas? Fine. Nobody's claiming a signed palace document exists, but here's what makes this cycle different from every royal rumor you've scrolled past. The people briefing journalists have completely changed their tune. 18 months ago, Team Sussex had exactly one message about Britain. Listen to what just happened to it.
Because 18 months ago, I spoke to a communications professional on Team Sussex who said to me, Harry's never coming back to the UK. He has no interest in it, to live. Never coming back to the UK, loves his life in California. He's here forever. And that has completely changed, hasn't it? Just turned around quite quietly while we've all been looking at other things that, their eyes are on Europe again and the UK.
From never coming back to quietly turning the ship around while everyone was looking somewhere else. That is not my framing. That's the journalists who deal with the Sussex machine directly. And according to Tom Sykes, even the messaging he has heard from Harry's office has shifted just as hard.
Yeah, so it is, as you say, and I've experienced the same thing, when speaking to their office. It's gone from he's loving California, he's loving the California sunshine and swimming in the pool, to, of course he wants to spend more time in the United Kingdom. It's his home, of course he wants to. He just needs his security back and all will be solved.
He just needs his security back and all will be well. That is a stunning sentence when you remember this family left Britain calling it unbearable. That's not homesickness talking, that's a strategy taking shape. And the commentator with the longest Sussex sourcing history on YouTube is saying the quiet part out loud. So this is getting real now. Prince Harry telling friends he wants to move back to the UK part-time. No thank you. As the veil falls off his relationship with Meghan Markle. And now we have major media figures like Kelvin McKenzie, former editor of The Sun, openly predicting that this union just ain't going to last. The veil falls off. Wotton's words, not mine. And he welded the return story straight onto the marriage story. Because that's where this gets brutal for Meghan. Every report about Harry's road home arrives with a second claim attached that his wife wants no part of it. Here's how it sounded on Sky News Australia. And the royal family aren't going to let him have it. It just isn't going to to happen. Meanwhile, Meghan isn't at all keen on his half in, half out plan either, and that apparently is leading to severe marital problems. He wants to spend more and more time in Britain. Not at all keen. Severe marital problems, apparently, keep that word apparently because these are anonymous sources talking, not court records. But notice what the claim actually describes. Not a couple bickering over vacation dates, a husband pulling toward one country while his wife plants her flag in another. And it reportedly goes further. She sees their future as an all-American dream. She doesn't want to go back to Britain, and that is causing serious friction. Reports of stand-up rows. It's all going wrong. I mean, they need money, he needs money, she needs money. Stand-up rows, reported, never proven, but look at the shape of it. She wants the all-American dream. He reportedly wants out of the isolation that dream turned into. And when the Root reporter explains why Harry changed his mind, she reaches for the one example that should genuinely terrify Meghan, her own father. He doesn't want to carry on doing that because he sees what the end game is with Meghan, whose father was desperately ill. She didn't go see him, and there's still absolutely no contact between them. That's not what he wants. And he has said that's not what he wants for him and his children. So he has to start to, turn his head towards the UK again to visit more frequently with less drama and bring Meghan and the kids as often as he can. Stick with that. Harry looked at Meghan's estrangement from her desperately ill father and reportedly saw his future staring him back. That's the end game he's running from. Once you know that, his behavior this past month stops looking random and starts looking like a man leaving a trail of breadcrumbs pointing east. Whether it's an essay saying that I may currently live in the United States, and imagine if you said I'm currently married to Meghan, or whether it's Archie in a photograph wearing an England football shirt, or whether it's coming back to the United Kingdom and having tea with the king. An essay that says he currently lives in America, an England shirt on Archie, tea with the king. One breadcrumb is a coincidence, a trail is a direction. So why now? Why would the man who fought this hard for California suddenly need Britain again? A UK broadcaster answered that question without blinking. He's trying to prove his relevance, and he has no relevance. That's the problem. He works for Invictus Games, or he's in charge of Invictus Games, and I have to say that when he turns up, he does a good job. But what else has he got? In America, he's got nothing. And if you look at his brand in America, he's a busted flush there. A busted flush, nothing left to sell in a country that quietly stopped buying. That's the engine of this entire story. America was the dream, and the dream reportedly expired. But wanting Britain back and building the road back are two very different things, and the reporting says Harry is already laying pavement. Now, why should one hyphenated word, half in, make an entire palace flinch? Because Britain has seen this exact proposal before. The half-in, half-out arrangement was rejected under Queen Elizabeth in the 2020 Sandringham Summit. And here, Kevin O'Sullivan summarizes exactly where that left Harry. That was the half-in, half-out system that the late great Queen Elizabeth II specifically banned. She said, you're either in or you're out. There's no halfway house. Harry is obsessed with getting that halfway house. You're either in or you're out. The late Queen banned the half house, and according to that commentary, Harry is reportedly chasing the exact door she closed. So, how does the palace actually see this? Start with the fairest version first, because even the Mail's royal editor can see the human side of it. But I think it's worth noting, I don't think any reasonable person would object to a father seeing his son and a grandfather meeting his children. Putting aside everything's happened over the last year, there is a personal family relationship. Nobody objects to a father seeing his son. That's the charitable reading, and she clearly means it. But now, watch what the very same journalist does next. In practically the same breath, the Daily Mail's royal editor delivers a warning you almost never hear out loud. Palace do need to be alive to the fact that there is a lot of concern that meeting will be used as a way to inveigle themselves back into this half-in and half-out role. Not maybe in the short term, but in the long term. Inveigle, look it up. It means to gain access by flattery or manipulation. That is the Daily Mail's royal editor warning the palace to stay alert to the possibility that one family reunion could be leveraged. Trust is the entire ballgame, and according to one Talk TV veteran, inside the family, the vote is already in. William, who by the way is basically in charge of the royal family. It's not the king, it's William. William, no way. Camilla doesn't want it. Anne doesn't want it. Edward doesn't want it. None of them want it. None of them want it. His characterization, but if it's even half right, Harry's plan has a monarchy-sized wall in front of it. So, let's reset the board because this is exactly where the story sharpens. Everything Harry wants runs through the king, and the Times royal editor says the king has already drawn his line. The king doesn't want to play strategy games with Harry. The king doesn't want to get involved in the security arrangements at all. Doesn't want to get involved in this. He can't constitutionally get involved with what state money is spent on protecting whom. Here's the board at halftime. Harry reportedly wants back. Meghan reportedly wants no part of it. The palace doesn't trust them. The family reportedly opposes it. And the king won't fight his security war. So how do you rebuild a British life nobody is offering you? Simple. You buy the halfway house yourself. And this holiday home that's never been pictured or seen, but we understand they have a close to princess usually in a hospital. Jack Brooksbank Inn in Europe is seen as a crucial part of this because it gives them a kind of halfway home from the Atlantic on the way back to the UK so they can use that as a base and dip in and out of the UK more as they see fit. A never photographed house parked next to Princess Eugenie positioned as a halfway home between California and the United Kingdom. For months, people doubted this place even existed. Then, the reporter who broke the reverse Megxit story went back to her source and every last bit of the hedging stopped. Last week, it was confirmed to me by someone who absolutely 100% knows for sure, and yeah, that house was bought. And the reason that we never saw them there was that they were basically bought off plans. They had it built. So, it's taken a couple of years. Listen, bought off plan, built over 2 years. Bashir says her source confirmed the purchase. The confidence is hers, not mine. While the world debated whether the Sussexes were finished with Europe, they were reportedly building their way back into it. And the man who broke the original house story says the location came with family attached. Yes, very much so. So, the story at the time was they bought this house. It wasn't clear if it had even been built at that point, but it was close to home owned by Harry's cousin, Princess Eugenie, and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, who split their time between Port School and Britain.